And he said, well, if he doesn't have two peaks, it should. With giant swords come giant responsibility. Do you want to punch a god in the face? Exalted is a high fantasy, world-rich, epic, and extremely versatile tabletop role-playing game. Let's break it down. So firstly, it's a tabletop role-playing game like D&D or Savage Worlds, aka the most flexible form of storytelling, because the storyteller is with you in the room. It's like improvising a long-form play with your friends, but there's dragons. That's the role-play part. The game is some rules to give you guidance if you wanna, say, punch a dragon in the face. And tabletop is the upside of a table where most people like to play. So you're playing an Exalted game, some friends round the table. The storyteller goes, "The city is deserted. You see damaged buildings and fires everywhere, but no corpses. Then, at the end of the main street, you notice a lone black figure holding a bone-white daiklave, red mists gathering at their feet. What do you do?" One of you goes, "I run up a wall to the roof of the nearest tallest building to get a better look." Another says, "I ready an arrow, infusing it with my essence to make it glow bright yellow." And then you say, "I shout out, 'We are the Nightbreakers, champions of the sun. Explain yourself. Are you of the day, here to help, or of the night?' And I point my dar lance at them." Roll presence and take a 1 die bonus. Holy crap. Okay, that's definitely a success. The figure takes a step back and shouts something. Suddenly, a rumble shakes the ground, and from behind the building rises an enormous beast. It's clad in shadows, but you can see its head is a horse-like naked skull. What do you do? That's the kind of things you can do in Exalted. Run up walls and swing giant weapons around. It's very anime, that's for sure. It's aiming to be epic, with a capital everything. Everybody has charms. These are your cool magical powers that let you hide in plain sight, hear an owl's breath, or shoot sunbeams from your fist. You play a mythical hero, deciding the fate of kingdoms and fighting apocalyptic monstrosities from the word go. It likes turning things up to over 9,000. The size of things, their strangeness. The fashion sense in the official art is, let's just call it flamboyant. Mostly in 2nd edition. Okay, we have some weeds to get into. Exalted has 3 editions, published in 2001, 6, and 16. Also, in 2023, they released a rules-light version of 3rd edition called Essence. We're skipping over some drama, publisher shenanigans, and something called ink monkeys, but that's the basic picture. Now, the 3 editions differ mostly in the rules, but there are also some setting-related changes and different vibes. Kinda like how they keep rebooting Batman and Spider-Man. The bigger picture is the same, but some details and the feel of every iteration are different. 1st edition was kinda pulpy, anime-y, edgy, and grim with that 90s, 2000s idea of matureness. 2nd edition threw away the grim part and went more anime, all edge. It had dark and violent content, a lot of scantily dressed women, and focused more on cosmic threats than on the actual characters what the players be playing. 3rd edition dialed all of that back again. The focus is on what the players can do, the scope is more grounded, and there are much fewer cannibals, which I, for one, think is a good thing. Anyway, back to business. Let's talk setting. That's both the world-rich and high fantasy bits. Exalted comes with its own world called Creation, and there is so much going on there. You could talk for hours about every facet of the world, and people have, but it's not just quantity, it's all just so cool. It has glowing champions of awesomeness and their goth and punk cousins, color-coded kung fu secret agents fighting bureaucracy to save the world, entire races forgotten under a mountain, and a twisted demon city that's alive and very angry. There are fairies and ghosts and alien gods, oh my. It's not only the supernatural stuff though. Creation's cultures are just as interesting. It details tens of kingdoms and communities, all unique, all with things to explore and problems to solve or exacerbate. Creation is huge. It has more landmass than Earth, so there's plenty to find or invent. One of the things Exalted loves to do is combine 2 or more historical cultures, like the realm of Rome China or the Arab Mongol tribes. And their inspiration sources are very diverse. How many games do you know that name-drop the Kowloon Walled City and Banti Shrey? The world is absolutely enormous and in constant flux, powers moving, fighting, bargaining. Every place is on the verge of chaos, and it all comes together to make a world that is so fun to explore and play in. That leaves us with versatile, by which I mean, you can really do whatever you want in Exalted. Wanna look for artifacts in ancient tombs? You can do that, but you can also do fantasy detective mysteries, high society politics, monsters of the week, giant armies, serious drama, silly drama, horror, or any mix of the above. Exalted was always kinda ridiculous, but with enough depth that you can get serious and it still works. The silly-serious juxtaposition also leads to one of my favorite things about the setting, which I like to call epic mundanity. Exalted has a lot of high-power individuals, but also emphasizes hierarchies and logistics, and those can come together in wonderful ways. Things like volcano gods standing in queue or people clocking in to their ass-kicking jobs. I love it so much. So what now? Well, in the coming episodes, we'll go into what actually happens in the world of Exalted, how it started, and how it's going. There's exalts and spirits and kingdoms and trouble and a lot of silly names. Now, if you're a fan of Exalted, you'll probably know most of it, but hopefully you'll enjoy and maybe even learn something. And if you want more than that, the dozens of Exalted books are available for purchase through our affiliate link. Hey, check it out! And I can highly recommend the Wondrous Atlas of Creation's Destiny and Systematic Understanding of Everything podcasts for great hosts and deeper dives. If you're just familiar with TTRPGs, maybe this will encourage you to join an Exalted group or even start one. And if all of this is new to you, just relax. You don't need to play Exalted to enjoy Exalted. Even if it's just enjoying the lore and works like the tragically discontinued keychain of creation, that's also excellent. Just take a breath, or two, or three. Next is Exalted History.